Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Tennis Weekly with Joel, Kim, and Chris. On today's Tour Catch-Up,
Sinner fights cramp to secure Vienna title.
Rybakina completes the field for WTA Finals.
And Saudi Arabia will host a new Masters event on the ATP Tour.
Kim, Chris, today is the 27th of October, and we are here to catch up on the week in tennis at Tennis Weekly HQ. We are on the home straight at the end of the season. The WTA Tour Finals in Riyadh is just around the corner, and Saudi Arabia has been a big talking point this week because not only are the WTA Tour Finals nearly upon us, there is going to be a new Masters event on the ATP side of things in a few years' time. We are going to be talking about that. We are going to be talking about Jannik Sinner coming to the fore in Vienna and Joao Fonseca living up to the hype in some people's views, finally this season in Basel as well. What else do we have? Paris as well. The final Masters on the ATP Tour is happening this season, and it's no longer in Bercy. It's in a new place. We're going to be looking into the draw for that in the second half, as well as doing a bit of a preview of those WTA end of season finals in Riyadh. So yeah, lots and lots, as always, to talk about. And the gang is fully back together.
We are. I was absent last week. I think maybe Chris was the week before.
I was on vocal rest. Were you on vocal rest as well, Kim?
No, I think I was just, I don't
Being
know.
loud somewhere else.
I was
Kim,
not anywhere exciting.
You keep posting on Instagram of like you on holiday, and I'm because you go on holiday so many times. I actually don't know. Is this like a delayed post or?
Yes, it's a
are you there?
Joel.
Latergram.
Yes.
I always feel a bit rude
to post when I'm there, so I do it like 6 months later.
So I always feel a bit rude when I haven't asked you or said have a nice holiday, and you're posting from some sunny place, and I'm thinking, God, that is bad form.
I just like to be deceptive. I don't want to
keep them guessing.
People too much information. Like, got to keep your whereabouts. But Joel, you were away. I think you were in
You
Poland.
were actually away.
I was away.
Post, did you? I didn't see any posts from you. No.
I'm gonna maybe take a page out of Kim's book and do some latergrams later this week. But yes, I was in Poland over the last couple of days in Krakow. Lovely, lovely city. Listeners, if you've never been there, I thoroughly recommend it. Very, very good. But guys, I also wanted to mention, I had a very busy last few days because I went from Krakow to London Comic Con, which is like a big gaming and comic convention at the XL Arena. And it actually gave me flashbacks to the UTS Grand Finals a few years ago, because I went to kind of a press presentation for the new Predator film, and it was basically on the court of where the UTS Grand Finals were a few years ago.
Was Jack Draper hitting at the time?
Yeah, it was the power there.
Yeah, the power, Jack the Power Draper.
I thought that you were going to say it was where the London Horse Show was.
It might have been the same place, to be honest.
You spent more time at the horse show than you did at the tennis, that UTS, Joel.
You loved the London Horse Show, which was on at the same time as the UTS in London.
The good thing about the new venue, Joel can't run off to the horse show.
No.
Very true.
Gallop off there.
Well, while you've been, I don't know, at Comic-Con in Poland, what else has been going on? Chris, I think you shared something food related, which I found quite entertaining. Would you like to share with our listeners?
Well, I did indeed. I was following all the action from Vienna, and I do love it when they make their players work for the media opportunities. We see them sometimes go surfing, for the United Cup down in Australia, and you think, well, in maybe not the best season, where do you send the players in Vienna? Well, you send them to make a schnitzel and to actually compete in the Wiener Schnitzel Open, it was called, and all the heavy hitters were there. We had Sinner, we had Messi, Tsitsipas, Berrettini. All of them were pounding, breading, and deep frying to win this, illustrious title. And guess who won? Do you know?
Oh, someone of sort of Germanic roots. I just,
so Sinner could be quite good potentially.
History, eating schnitzel.
I've got no idea.
Well, it was Matteo Berrettini. So he hasn't won a title in a while, but he has won the Wiener Schnitzel Open.
Yeah. Chris, I was going to say that we've been talking so much about the schedule recently, and all the players getting flack for the exhibitions they're playing. I hope they haven't got any flack as well for adding another event on their schedule, the Wiener Schnitzel Open.
I mean, the schedule is tight enough.
Is this a 250? Was it 500?
I think it's on the Challenger Tour based on the efforts from some of the players.
It's got me thinking, Joel, if we ever did the Croydon Open, would we have some kind of fried chicken?
Of
The
course
media opportunity.
Yeah.
Goodness, we could.
I know your fried
get
chicken
Sinner
joint.
cooking up some
South London very
peri
well.
peri chicken.
What about breakfast? You could do an English breakfast. Could be something you have to try and fry up.
Yeah. Who can?
Oh,
yeah.
an English fry up. Yeah, I like that. I like that. A greasy spoon calf in Croydon.
Joel will try them all and tell us who the winner is.
Absolutely. Well, I have seen online that Rafa's out and about coming up.
Yeah, what
is
is this about, Kim?
This is so bizarre. I mean, make of this what you will. Rafa is going to be part of the America Business Forum, which is in Miami on November the 5th and 6th, alongside Lionel Messi, Will Smith, and I mean,
as you do,
also Donald Trump. It's a bit of a perhaps odd mix there. I kind of get Messi, like they're obviously inviting top sports people to this, but I'm not sure it's in Rafa's best interests to maybe attend something.
Did he just fancy a holiday to Miami, Kim?
Is possibly, I don't know, but I'm not entirely sure. I haven't looked into the details, but he's on the advert. So yeah,
it looks like surely this is AR. I can't believe this is a real thing, Kim. But
have I been gullible and believed
no,
something?
I don't think you have. I mean, I think maybe the picture might not be the most accurate of Rafa because he has got a very full hairline, suspiciously full.
Yes,
don't you think?
This is true. This is legit. Yeah.
So does Trump actually,
Wouldn't
but it
they
is
just use
happening.
a proper photo of him? It's odd. Yeah.
It is odd, but either way, will you be attending? Is what our listeners, I'm sure they want to know. Are you off to Miami next week?
Will I be attending? No,
We'll find out in 6 months
on
on a
behalf
later
of Tennis
grab.
Weekly
yeah,
podcast.
exactly. Follow my Instagram. You'll find out in a year's time. I'll keep it under wraps.
That you met Will Smith in Miami.
But what about you, Joel? Have you been following any other bits of news from the tour?
Yes, I've been enjoying a certain quote from Alex de Minaur, which came out this week, and we talk about kind of prize money, big topic on the tour. You know what people are motivated, for playing. They're playing for prize money, they're playing for points. What Alex de Minaur said: if you see me stressed on court, I'm just thinking of the wedding budget. That's why I'm like. So I'm a little bit kind of intrigued here because how big is the wedding budget? I mean, is Alex de Minaur under the pressure? Is Katie Boulter wanting like the most amazing wedding imaginable, and not even de Minaur's finances at the moment can keep up?
Well, I can tell you he's made $4.2 million this year. So I'm thinking he can probably cover it.
But then if he's stressing about it, what is she expecting? what are
the
they
cost
planning?
of inflation, Chris? Weddings have gone up.
If a millionaire is struggling.
Has he spent all the money? That's also the question, maybe.
I think they're getting married in Tuscany. I think they were checking out venues earlier in the year.
They might have to go to Greece instead. They might not to afford Tuscany.
They might need to rethink their plans. But yes, can't wait for all the pictures.
Hope you find some money to foot the bill for that one. You can always ask the parents, can't you?
Maybe
Berrettini can do the catering, seeing as he knows how to make a mean schnitzel.
For everyone.
It perhaps explains because he is the defending champion, but he will be at the UTS Grand Finals this year. I think he was picked as the final wild card. So maybe
resident.
Maybe wedding bells and wedding events is firmly on his mind.
A copper box wedding. We look forward to being in attendance.
Well, I'm sure we can help get involved. We can set something
Crowdfunder,
up, do the audio. Yeah. Well, let's have a look at what happened on tour in the last week, because we did have the Wiener Schnitzel Open in Vienna, but we also had some tennis as well.
Did we?
And yeah, I know. Funnily enough,
it ended with the Schnitzel.
Jannik Sinner came through winning the tennis. He beat Sasha Zverev in the final from a set down to re-win the title that he won in Vienna 2 years ago. So yeah, Sinner's kind of back winning, picking up a 500. He did struggle with cramp though in that final. So at one point didn't necessarily look like he was going to emerge victorious, but yeah, got the job done, and he has now surpassed the $50 million of career prize money. So he's ticked that milestone off. So yeah, happy days for Jannik Sinner battling through cramp. Joel, what did you make of the final between the two of them? Because also Zverev played probably the best tennis he's played in quite a while. So it was quite a competitive match.
Yeah, the more I was watching this match, the more I was thinking, where has this Alexander Zverev been the whole season? Because it was a very competitive final. I think one of the best finals on the tour this season. Went very deep. Came down to a few points here or there. And you sense with Zverev, there was an opportunity there in that third set because Sinner was, cramping. You wondered, could Zverev take advantage? But, Sinner, he's just so good on indoor hard court. I think he plays a similar game, I guess, to Zverev on indoor. It's just it was almost kind of a bit better. I only feel like Zverev can truly match Sinner on his first serve, and even then he has to have a good day. But yeah, I think it was an impressive performance of Sinner, given that little blip maybe he had towards the end of the third set. But yeah, it was just nice, I think, to see such a competitive final because this Zverev has not been on the tour for so long. And yeah, he really did pull out a performance that got me thinking, actually, he is the world number 3, which I haven't really been thinking about for a long time.
But
he's
should
the world
he have
number
won
3
it,
when
though?
he performs, though.
Yeah, I was going to say, should he have won this? Is this not a world number 3 performance? Because if your opponent's cramping and you can't get it done in 3 sets, is it still arguably the same Zverev who can't always get it done despite pushing, the top 2 in the world in Grand Slam finals previously? It makes me think not much has changed. Flashes of brilliance.
I don't think anyone has really been that close to Sinner. I mean, even in this tournament, he was going through all his matches relatively comfortably, in straight sets. Yes, admittedly, Zverev, he was very close to going out to Fernley in the first round. But as I say, I think for me, the competitiveness of it, yeah, I take your point that maybe there was still that sign of old Zverev at the end, but the fact that he was competitive against one of the best players, if not the best player at the moment on the tour, it's a lot better than I would say 99% of the people, even even Alcaraz in the Six Kings Slam. I don't think played as well as we saw from Zverev against Sinner.
I mean, Zverev actually came in with a head-to-head, leading head-to-head over Sinner. It was 4-3, obviously now 4-all, and he's actually got a 6-all head-to-head with Alcaraz. So he's one of the few players, I suppose, that actually doesn't have a losing head-to-head with the top 2. But I mean, ultimately in this match, what was it that helped Sinner and enabled Sinner to get that title, get his 21st career title? What was the key difference, Chris?
I think he's definitely a player who's able to figure out what he should be doing in matches. He threw in the drop shot an awful lot. That was a key play for him. And then when that stopped working, he went for a bit more at the times he needed to. He knows how to manage his body. He knows when to go for things now. And it was just a kind of a champion's response to the injury that he was not injury, cramps on injury, but you can't, you're impeded physically, and he was still able to manage that. He said there's room for him to improve. He would like his backhand to be a bit better, but I mean, the forehand is just so rock solid. It's such a weapon, and he really got it done on that wing. And I think that's where, sometimes it can make all the difference if you do go for that shot. And we've seen sometimes Zverev can be too passive, and that's not really something you can say of Jannik Sinner.
I mean, did we learn anything new from Sinner this week other than he knows how to defeat cramp?
Great at schnitzel making.
Great at schnitzel making. Could do better there. I mean, I noticed he got the pickle juice out at the changeovers to help with his cramp. I feel like I need to check out pickle juice because it seems to be all the rage.
I still feel like with Sinner that there's still those vulnerabilities there. In a best of 3 set final, there was he still had issues, but. And then maybe he's going to give you a chance in that respect. But, I think we learned more, from, how Zverev played. I think in that semi-final against Musetti, again, an opponent I think he's had struggles with recently. He served so well. I don't think Musetti had any break point chances. Although Zverev's forehand did break down maybe a little bit more often than he would liked in that semi. I think we maybe learnt more from him in the final than we did Sinner. I think Sinner on indoor hardcourt is just on another level, I think, at the moment to, everyone else. I think it will be interesting to see if he does step on the court in Paris because of these kind of cramping issues. He's not got the best record actually in Paris. And it does make me wonder whether he should kind of save himself for the tour finals.
That is interesting. He hasn't won a 1000 this year. I was kind of thinking maybe that's why he's playing it, looking to try and pick one up. But you did talk about the physical issues. We've actually seen a lot of physical issues this year for Jannik Sinner, which was something that was much more typical of his earlier years on the tour. Should we actually be concerned? Because this is more than just a one-off. This is a pattern now. He's retired in at multiple Masters events consecutively, and now he's had some physical issues here. He wasn't even stretched particularly during the week. Is this a concern? And do you think that this is something more that's going on behind the scenes, that physically he's just not actually at the same level as, Carlos Alcaraz?
There could be, but I think I don't know see, in Asia there was a lot of humidity, which was kind of contributing to a lot of players having these sorts of issues. Vienna indoors, not the same weather conditions at all. Yet he's still having these issues. So yes, I think in what little off season there is, if there's something that can be done to address that going into next year, obviously when it comes to the slams and Australia and the incredible difficulties there with heat, which we know he's battled through before. He's a two-time champion there. For me, there's slight doubts, but not anything.
You're not alarmed.
Major, and I think he does so well at getting through early rounds of slams comfortably to not exert himself too much. So I think.
Do you think he should play Paris, Kim?
I suppose he's not, like you said, he's not got that 1000 this year, and maybe that's what he's earmarking. But yeah, I think you want to prioritize the finals, don't you? The ATP finals. So
he's skipping the Davis Cup.
He's skipping the Davis Cup, which has not gone down particularly well at home, even though obviously Italy are two-time defending champions. So I think, if he's playing Paris, I think that he must feel like he's fit enough to do so, despite the difficulties in the final in Vienna, which hopefully is a good sign for his team and his fans. But it wouldn't surprise me if actually he maybe withdraws early on and thinks, I'm going to, rethink
do a Rybakina.
Yeah.
Do a Rybakina. There we go.
To the tour finals.
Well, let's have a look at what happened in Basel, another indoor event, which, for many years back in the day was dominated by Roger Federer. Of course, it's his hometown. But this year we had Joao Fonseca winning the biggest title of his career and maybe putting to rest a few of our doubts about the hype.
Your doubts.
Maybe.
Don't tarnish me with that sort of phrasing, Kim.
He beat Alejandro Davidovich-Fokina 6-3, 6-4 in Basel. I feel sorry for ADF because he always comes out the worst in these finals, doesn't he? And he's just not quite got over the line. But Fonseca, doing the business. He's up into the top 30 now as a result. What were you most impressed by with Fonseca kind of coming through this tournament, getting that title? And can I just say, I did notice he beat Jaume Munar en route, sadly. Had to get his name in there.
It was good innings for Jaume, though.
I would say he had a little bit of luck along the way because he had a walkover against Bencic, and then Shapovalov also retired, but admittedly was kind of 4-1 down in that third set. But I think what we learned from Fonseca this week was, he can, I guess, live up to the hype. And I think indoor hard is really tailor-made to his game. He hits big, particularly on the forehand. And, I think in that match in the semis against Munar, he showed great composure as well. Very mature, I think, for, someone who's not got a lot of experience on the tour. There was a few kind of clutch moments, a couple of tight sets that he was able to nab. So I was impressed, with that composure that he showed. And, even in the final as well, yes, it was kind of a bit, I guess a little bit kind of routine, but, again, kind of putting an opponent, a dangerous opponent away. I do also wonder if, that helped, the occasion sort of helped, because I feel like Fokina still has these kind of mental struggles in the big matches of tournaments, as we've seen in various and a number of tour finals, sadly. So maybe that helped as well. But yeah, I think composure and a bit more maturity from Fonseca this week was something that stood out to me.
Are you on the hype train now, Kim?
Well, yes, the height. I'm the scale has increased, shall we say? But I think somewhat you're up against someone like Joel said, who doesn't do great.
This is who you would want in a final,
0-4.
Isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's like almost dream finalist. But I think what's it's great for Brazilian tennis. He's the first Brazilian man to have won a title of this level since 2001. When Guga won the Cincy Masters. Obviously, there's been, Beatrice had Admire on the women's side, but for Brazilian men's tennis in the singles, it's great that they've got Fonseca to kind of get behind. But there were and Joel alluded to it, quite a lot of retirements, withdrawals. I think 3 of the 4 quarterfinals ended in a retirement, which is really not a great look, is it? And does that indicate just the scheduling, the long season, or was there anything else?
I think it's
explain?
It was in the semi-finals. Yes,
semi-finals.
Sorry, was it
no quarterfinals?
No, quarterfinals. I'm
Yep.
getting it wrong. My apologies.
But I mean, what I think is interesting is that a lot of people are talking about the fact that the schedule is too demanding. I actually think it's more to do with the 500 rule that exists, where you have to play a certain number of 500 tournaments to be in the bonus pool. Or there are some repercussions if you don't play 4 of the 6 of the year. There's all of these different rules that exist. So it feels like some players were playing it, even though they didn't actually really feel up to it. And they weren't necessarily prioritizing this one. They were going to head to Paris anyway pretty soon. So I think a lot of players are playing more than they should at this point of the season. I don't think you can necessarily blame, the nature of this part of the season as to why this is happening. I think at the end of the season, you get this anyway. And before big tournaments, you see people pulling out of them. So I think it's unfortunate, but I do think this was a particularly bad case of it.
Yeah, I think it'll be worrying if the trend continues into the start of next season. I think let's see how many retirements and withdrawals happen in the first few months of the following season, because I think that will be a bit more telling in terms of the fact that the tour doesn't really have an off season. It just keeps on going. But at the moment, maybe it's a little bit more understandable. I mean, I really enjoyed a player who hasn't played, Stefanos Tsitsipas. He literally turned up for one match at the Six Kings Slam, pocketed boatload of money, and pulled out of all his other kind of tour events. So, kind of interesting.
Well, he did enter the Schnitzel contest, so
well, what more could you want?
He didn't get
Big
any
prize
ranking
money.
points there. No, he didn't.
Massive prize money and some tasty food. There we go. I mean, he's not silly, is he? Well, and let's now catch up on the WTA events that happened the week just gone. We had the Tokyo event, which was the 500 out on the WTA Tour. Belinda Bencic winning that one quite comfortably in the final over the young Czech hope Linda Noskova. Bencic has now picked up 10 WTA titles, and she is having a fantastic comeback season. She's now at
Renaissance,
11.
Kim?
Yeah, I think Renaissance is a fair word. She's at 11 in the world. Anyone want to tell me where she started ranking wise ahead of the United Cup earlier in the year? So
she played a few tournaments at the end of last year, so maybe it's like 600 and something.
She was 487. So
Wow,
487 up to 11. I mean, that's a pretty impressive comeback season. And yeah, she makes it look quite easy, doesn't she? And obviously she had time out to have her child. And yeah, she's very, very impressive. Chris, I know you're a big Bencic fan. You called her run to the semi-finals at Wimbledon. How impressed were you?
Must we bring that
I
back
actually
up?
forgot that. Sometimes I forget the good. I just focus on the terrible predictions.
I like to feed your ego and get something in return. I don't know.
Inflating as we speak.
Yeah. How impressed were you with what you saw from her in Tokyo? Because she didn't just beat Noskova, she also had a win over Mukova en route as well. Kenin, some battles in there, but she fought her way through and came over with another title.
Well, it looked like she was down and out against Mukova. That was a real contest, and she actually only just managed to get through that. She was down multiple times in that to go down, even in straight sets. So a fantastic fight back from her there to come through. I mean, Kenin, that was also a great match. I think what's really nice to see is that she's such a talented player and was such a talented junior. And I think that's where sometimes, you do need the time off to then get the perspective back. And I think she probably did hit a bit of a wall prior to having a break where, she lost to Emma Raducanu, a player much younger than her. I remember she got absolutely destroyed at the US Open. I think that was in the quarterfinal. And you just thought, like, what could have been? And I think when you come back, the first season you come back doesn't tend to be this good. I mean, Naomi Osaka will speak to that. So hugely impressive. And she loves this court because this is also where she won her gold medal, which is something super nice. She just loves playing in Japan because that's where she won the gold in Tokyo. So very, very impressive from her. And you do have to think she's got to be targeting a return to the top 10 in 2026 and maybe even, dreaming even bigger.
Oh, I mean, do you think top 5? Where do you think her realistic ceiling or threshold would be for next year?
I think she could make top 5 for sure. I do think, though, that based on what Joel saw in the Wimbledon semi-final, I'm not sure he's going to agree with me on that.
I mean, I'm just looking at her highest ranking. She has been as high as number 4.
I was about to say, I thought it was number 4, but a return to number 4, then we should
2020, I think she was up at 4. So,
after the semi-final, the US,
Yeah. I mean, she's a great player. I feel like she's been around the tour for a long, long time. She's very experienced, and she's only 28 years old. So I think certainly she can go higher. Maybe we could see her at a future WTA end of season finals because she is playing very, very well. I will say one question mark I would give you is that Elena Rybakina pulled out of this event at the semi-final stage because I wonder why she had completed, or she had achieved her objective of getting to the WTA Tour season finals. First of all, how does that sit with you both? The fact that she kind of, as I said, did what she needed to do, and then was like, I mean, she sort of said, I've been struggling with an injury and all this sort of stuff, but everyone, I feel like, can sort of see through that and be like, she didn't want to play because she's got bigger fish to fry now with the season finals coming up.
Yeah, I think genuinely if there's an injury, fair enough. You think, oh, what could happen in those 2 matches if I exert myself too much here? I want to focus on what matters. But if not, then if there's not a genuine reason, it's not the best image. It reminds me of when was it Federer just kind of rocked up to play the French one year and then withdrew, and everyone was a bit, that's a bit,
but I think
dodgy.
With this one, though, we all knew this was coming. I thought there was no way that she was going to play on in this tournament, and then you see the announcement. So I think that's the ones where you do have a bit of an eye roll when it comes to the result, because clearly she didn't want to be in this tournament at all. She was only forced to play it because it was to get that last spot for the WTA final. So she did what was needed. I think it was impressive, the players that she beat. Fernandez and Mboka are no easy customers to get through. So she was made to work for it. And to be honest, I think the fact that she did choose to play is something that Mirra Andreeva didn't choose to do. And she went and, stole that last spot.
Yeah, she got what she came for. But Bencic came out the winner overall. Funny fact, she got to the final of this event 10 years ago, did Bencic, as an 18-year-old. Anyone want to guess who she lost to in that final in 2015?
Oh,
Patty Schneider. Is that sort of era?
I think Patty Schneider's before then.
Sharapova?
No.
Ooh, I don't know. Tell me.
Radvanska.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
Ursula Radvanska.
Agnieszka.
Ursula, yeah.
You just come back from Poland. I'd expect your Polish
royalty there.
You didn't brush up on anything there, no.
Well, we also had the WTA 250 out in Guangzhou in China. Jessica Buzas-Monero was the top seed there.
Kim, we're so sorry about this result.
Sadly lost in the first round to Lulu.
I mean, Kim, this tournament was the main draw. I was looking at the draw. One seeded player got to the second round.
Yes. And who was that? Which seeded player was that?
Putintseva. Yeah.
Actually, no.
Anne Lee.
Hang on, Anne Lee.
Yeah.
Sorry, hang on, wait. Am I getting this right?
She won the title. Two seeded players.
It's got to be two, Joel.
Wait, it was two. Sorry, my
Two
maths has
players.
deserted me. I
One
need to
plus
pare that
one.
back. Yes.
It's like two turtle doves and
One Anne Lee.
One Anne Lee as the champion. Anne Lee won this title, beating Lulu Sun in the final in straight sets. Anne Lee, first
Another American
title in 4 years. Another American who is, up there, I suppose, in their top 10 Americans. Famously, she came up on our end of season quiz last year as an answer. But this is perhaps.
Are you saying you put her on the map, Kim? With that
put
one?
her on the map. Yeah. But no, I mean, did you see much of Guangzhou? Did you see much of Anne Lee beating Lulu Sun? Because it kind of felt like it was a final where it was all to play for, because neither of them two, are notorious title winners. So I think it was a great opportunity for whoever won to come out with the trophy.
For sure. I mean, I've been watching her for quite some time. I think we've seen her have spikes in her ranking, previously that have been, a bit higher at times. And now she's almost seeded for Australia. So if someone pulls out, she will be seeded. The cutoff, I think, now is like mid-November. So that's great for her. I think it'll be interesting to see what she can do and she can push on a bit more. She's made, I think she made the fourth round of the US Open. I think I remember having a good run there. I think she actually took out Bencic in that run. If I'm making this up, I do apologize, listeners. But yes, quietly putting together a very impressive season. So let's see what she can do moving into next year.
Yes, so she's sort of coming through under the radar, but perhaps, a dark horse for the Aussie Open if she's not quite seeded. But let's take a quick break now after wrapping all of that up. We'll be back in the second half, so do join us because we'll be discussing the very first Saudi Arabia Masters, who we would put in a Six Kings Slam event if there was a women's version. And we'll be looking ahead to the exciting WTA end of season finals and the Paris Masters with Sinner and Alcaraz both in action. So do not go anywhere. Welcome to Tennis Weekly, and we are kicking off the second half a little bit differently today. Is it different, Joel? Have you got something radical up your sleeve?
Yes. It's actually not that different. Okay. I wanted to big it up.
Is it top Polish tennis players or something based on your travels?
Do you know, that would have been a great idea, but sadly it is not. It's actually a game, a par for the courts, that I was going to bring up last week, but I wanted, Kim, for you to be here so we could have a little bit of a face-off.
Thank you.
Once again, Chris versus Kim with this par for the courts.
You're back as the question master where you like to be after being put through your paces by Elena. Yeah.
The safety of being the quiz master. Exactly. And my question for you this week, actually, I'm a little bit worried for my editing because this question has quite a few answers.
Oh, no,
so it might
Joel,
be a little bit.
He's looking down at his phone. We know we're in trouble.
It might be a little bit rapid fire, but my category for you and our listeners is Daniil Medvedev has won 21 career titles in 21 different cities.
Ooh, okay.
And I would like you to name me the cities that he has won a title in.
That's a very good geographical question. I like it.
So I'm looking for the cities. So think about Grand Slams, think about Masters events, 500s, 250s, whatever it is. I'm looking for the cities that Daniil Medvedev has uniquely won all his 21 career titles in.
Okay, who's going first? Well, I'm not sure how many I'm going to get.
Go on, Kim. he said it already. He said Grand Slam. You may as well kick us off.
Yes, I may as well say the obvious. New York City.
That is correct. Very good. New York, of course, where he won the US Open. So 1-0 to you, Kim.
He's recently won a title. Might be why we're talking about this. I believe that was Almaty in Kazakhstan.
Very good. Yes, that is a correct answer.
Not quite as big a title.
His most recent title, Almaty Open 2025. So 1 apiece. Back to you, Kim.
Oh God, which city was it in? or should I say the other one? I can't remember which city because it swaps
Kim.
around, but Cincinnati.
Cincinnati
Mm.
is a correct answer. Very good. 2-1 to Kim.
Oh, you thought you might have won it the year that it was in New York.
Well, you know, that
Interesting.
summer he went on a rampage and like won almost everything.
Oh, he did, didn't he?
But
Kim,
I
you're
didn't
giving
know
clues to Chris
which,
here.
Which Canadian city
But
he
yes,
would have won it in? because
Cincinnati, he won
you
in
know,
2019.
That might be the tricky one. Which
One of the tournaments
yeah,
swaps
true.
every year.
We're not normally allowed to have this much conversation, listeners. I'm going to go for the last place he won a title prior to this, which was in Rome.
Rome. That is very good. Yes, he won Rome, the Italian Open 2023. So that is 2 apiece. Kim, it's back to you.
I'm going to say Dubai.
Dubai is a correct answer. Very good. Also won in 2023. So you are in the lead, 3-2. We've had 5 of the 21 cities.
This is actually going to be, listeners, please feel free to listen to this on ×2 speed. Goodness gracious. I'm going to say Rotterdam. I'm pretty sure I remember that one.
Rotterdam, also a correct answer, 2023. So 3 apiece.
It's
Kim, back to
basically
you.
name all of the hard court tournaments.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm going to say Doha then.
Doha,
Yeah.
also a correct answer. Very good. 4-3. Kim, Chris, over
It's
to you.
making me think he's won Paris. To be clear, not the French Open.
Yeah.
but-
Paris. That is a correct answer. Yes, he won Paris Masters in 2020. So yeah, back to you, Kim.
Shanghai.
Shanghai is a correct answer.
Oh.
Very good. 5-4 to Kim. He won Shanghai in 2019.
Right. I have a funny memory that he's won it on grass before, but I'm not sure. I know he's won in Mallorca, but I'm gonna say Mallorca. I don't think he's won. Hello. Yeah, Mallorca.
Mallorca is correct. Very, very good. Also won that in 2021. So you are at 5 apiece. One more answer gets you over halfway collectively.
We should make a mutual decision to end this here.
Kim,
I mean,
it's over to you.
I obviously there are other big hard court masters, isn't there? But I also feel like, has he won another sort of lower grade clay event? And I'm going to say like Geneva, but that's no. I should just say something a bit more obvious, shouldn't I? Or take a punt on the Canadian city that I haven't said.
Please, Kim.
I'm going to say Geneva because, yeah, why not?
The Geneva Open. It's incorrect.
Oh,
Geneva is not on the list, but it's
I
still
thought-
5 apiece.
okay.
Chris does have to give me an answer, a correct answer, to take it. So, Chris, it's over to you to clinch this week's Par for the Courts. What city are you going for?
Right. Okay. This is a tricky one because
I've given you 50% of an answer potentially.
you have, but also maybe he's won it twice and both cities count. You didn't think of that, did you, Kim?
No.
I'm not going to risk it because I want to really stick it to Kim at this point. I don't know why we haven't said Miami.
Well, that's what I was thinking, Indian Wells or Miami as well, but has he definitely? Probably has.
I think
Miami
he's definitely won Miami.
Is a correct answer.
Oh.
Chris takes this week's edition
Well done.
of Par for the Courts. But more crucially, I mean, well done, Chris. But
Thank you.
Kim, we are all dying.
Which Canadian city would you have said?
He has won in a Canadian city.
Was it Montreal?
I'd say Toronto.
If you had said Montreal, Kim, we wouldn't have been playing because that was also an incorrect
there you go.
answer. It was
Unlucky
Toronto.
Goodness.
But
Even
yes.
50-50, Kim couldn't get that one.
Has he won it in French speaking places though? Because obviously he is.
I think he's
does
won.
speak French.
He has
so-
won. I think it's in
Marseille.
I think Marseille he's won.
I was
Yes,
trying to
Kim,
think
very
that
good.
he's
Yeah,
definitely won
you
some-
could have
a
given me
slightly
Marseille.
Smaller one, yeah.
I think he's won St. Petersburg for sure.
He has won St. Petersburg.
Vienna?
Very good.
Has
he
he
has
won-
won Vienna. Yes.
Yeah. I think he's won Sydney.
He has won Sydney. Very good.
The ATP Finals in London.
Very good. Yes, a little bit of a trick one there, but yes, London is on the list.
And then has he won Washington would be...
Washington not on the list.
Winston-Salem?
Kim! Very good. Winston-Salem
Kim is unplayable when the game is over.
Yeah, the pressure is off. Kim comes out with the niche answers. Yes, very good,
What else was
Kim.
on the list then?
Winston-Salem.
Has he won in China?
Vienna. I'm going to go backwards from
yes.
W.
Yeah.
Tokyo.
This is in alphabetical order. Winston-Salem, Vienna, Toronto, Tokyo, Sydney, St. Petersburg, Sofia, Shanghai, Rotterdam, Rome, Paris, New York, Miami, Marseille, Mallorca, London, Dubai, Doha, Cincinnati, Almaty, and there is one final event.
It's got to begin with
Beginning
an
with
A.
an A.
Mentioned. I know,
Adelaide.
no, I actually missed it out.
Oh, okay.
He won it in 2022.
What letters does it begin with?
Out in South America.
He's
Buenos
not
Aires.
Golden Swing. He's not won another one on clay. Acapulco?
Los Cabos.
Cabos.
Yeah, so there you go.
Would never have said that.
No,
Well done.
would never have
Thank you,
thought of
Joel.
it.
Listeners, how did you get on with that? So
We've gone around the world there, haven't we?
deep dive around the world with Daniel Medvedev and his trophy cabinet. So thank you, Joel.
Really was a deep dive.
Yes. And a silly
Every
answer
single
from
one.
me. Well, let's dip into the mailbag now because David got in touch via email to Tennis Weekly HQ saying, hello, team. Love your podcast and your chat last week on the Six Kings Slam. It got me thinking if there were a female version of the event called the Six Queens Slam, who would be your six queens for the first edition? Thanks, David, for getting in touch. I think maybe we've just created something that could actually happen. Six Queen Slam. It just makes me think of the musical Six, about the six wives of Henry VIII. So I'm going to be singing the main song from that now. So thanks, David. But
feel free to sing a bit now, Kim. Yeah.
Any initial thoughts on who you would have at this event?
I mean,
Chris?
I have been waiting to be asked this question. I've been thinking long and hard about it, David, because I think there's many different angles to this. The logic would say you go for those who've won the most slams, which is something the ATP actually can't necessarily fill those six slots because, you know, Novak Djokovic, Nadal and Federer don't really like to share them, do they? So they're clutching at straws for some of those final spots. But on the WTA, they're not short of a Grand Slam champion.
We just have like a fight for like single slam holders.
I was going to suggest that.
Oh,
Sloane Stephens, top billing.
Oh,
You've
yeah.
got
Emma
Run and
Raducanu.
done slam
Kenin,
winners.
Andreescu's going to be there.
One
Rybakina.
and done, Kim. How dare you?
Well, Flavia Pennetta as an example.
Well, we even have Vondrousova could also be in the mix as well.
Yeah, very good.
Unfortunately, we could also have Keys actually. Ostapenko. I think that could be a pretty wild lineup. But if I'm doing it seriously, I have to say, rather than go by rankings, I'm going on number of slam titles of active players. So I'm thinking Sabalenka, Swiatek, Gauff.
Hang on, does Venus Williams count in this?
Yeah, Serena Williams.
Actually.
Venus Williams,
sisters
sorry, as
excluded.
active, yeah.
But Sabalenka, Swiatek, Gauff, Osaka, Krejcikova, and then my wild card is Ostapenko.
Yeah, I was thinking Ostapenko would
for
be
drama.
You need her because she could destroy anyone on a day.
Yeah.
I was thinking more like who's got the most followers on social media, who is the most famous.
Susan Lamens.
Susan Lamens, obviously, she's just
Jessica
an
Bustos-Monero.
unknown quantity at the moment.
Chris, you're just naming like what you want the WTA Elite Trophy lineup to be.
I would love that. Elise Mertens, she
Bring
needs
it back.
to be there. Yeah.
We need it back.
You represent, you know, apart from Antarctica, the six continents. So you've got someone from each continent.
Like that.
So like Ons Jabeur could obviously feature. You'd have you know, a Chinese player. Yeah, Maya Joint. Or you could just bring back retired, you know, players
Luxembourg ladies. Make
Sharapova,
it
Barty.
the Luxembourg
Serena.
Slam Queens.
You know, so various options depending on, I guess, whether
Joel, come on.
who was
Who
putting
would you,
this event on, where it was, where
who would
is it
you
in
need
Croydon
to see
or
there? Yeah, tell us,
Saudi
Joel.
Arabia?
Garbina Muguruza.
Yeah, of course. Go
No,
Conta.
I would like to see. Yeah, I think we've been very boring and just basically like the tour finals if you just done 1 to 6. But yeah, I thought Yelena Ostapenko would be a wild card pick for me. Emma Raducanu would be
She's
another
money
wild
in the
card
bank,
pick.
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
she
money
will
in the
definitely
bank.
go for the
Dream.
paycheck. That's for sure.
So definitely on the list. Maybe DC Danielle Collins.
Okay,
be
so you're
fun.
looking for some drama in the
Osaka.
matchups as well.
Osaka.
Who's going to bring the
yeah.
best outfits? Maybe.
Yeah, you would need that, but Sloane is still on my list as a special mention.
Okay.
Alternate. Maybe Venus as well. Always good outfits.
Yes.
So we've not been definitive. We've actually given every WTA player we can.
You'd have multiple iterations of the 6 Queen Slam. But yeah, I think if we're having 6 kings, we need to do 6 queens. I think it could be good fun. So thank you, David, for getting in touch. Listeners, let us know who you would have. How would you style it?
Would you also pick Muguruza?
Would you also pick
Coax her
Muguruza?
out of retirement with mad money available.
Yes.
Mad
Once
money.
she's had her baby, of course, as well. But anyway, speaking of Saudi Arabia, obviously who hosted the 6 Kings Slam, we have more news from Saudi Arabia is that they are going to be hosting an ATP 1000 Masters event, possibly from 2028 onwards. It's going to be in February, so it's going to possibly disrupt the golden swing, maybe. But it's also going to be, I guess, in the same period of the year where we've already got events in Doha and Dubai as well. What do you make of this? Is this just sort of the latest way that Saudi Arabia are kind of slowly coming to kind of dominate various aspects of tennis?
And we could
nickname about
it.
this?
We could nickname this second half the Saudi half, because that's pretty much everything that we're talking about. One thing I will just clarify is that it's not actually set in stone when it will be in the calendar. But
see.
the talk is it will either be pre-Australia or it will be in February. The Australian Open really doesn't want it to be before the Australian Open and disrupt the Australian summer of tennis that they've been working so hard towards. And this is where, like, I think announcing it so early allows all the tournaments to be jostling to find out who's going to stay, who's going to go, because it will mean some tournaments will be getting the chop.
Yeah.
And it doesn't necessarily mean those tournaments will be the golden swing. The golden swing will suffer if it stays in its traditional slot. I know that Joel is a fan of it, but you also don't necessarily see the point of it. I am a huge fan of the golden swing. So I don't want that to be too disrupted, because the passion that people have to watch tennis down there is not emulated in Saudi Arabia in the same way. But in terms of the news, it's not been necessarily a well-kept secret. We all knew this was coming. I was just surprised that it wasn't 2027, to be honest.
Yeah, it feels like this has been on the cards for a long time. It's been interesting kind of reading around it, and it feels like Saudi Arabia's involvement in tennis has started with kind of sponsoring things. I think about with the ATP, sponsoring the ranking system. But increasingly, it's clear that their kind of strategy has been from, sponsorship is one thing, but they want to own things. They want to have ultimately events. And, we've seen that a bit more, I think, so far, on the WTA side, but also on the ATP side. We have the end of season finals in Riyadh, next gen finals as well. But I sometimes think actually this has been a watered down vision of maybe what they originally wanted. Because Chris, you mentioned the fact that I think their kind of master plan was to have this as a big kickoff at the start of the season. And the reality is Australian Open didn't want it. I think there was hesitation from players as well. The pressure of playing a 1000 to begin with, that is not what they want. And I think that's why people liked, to be honest, that's why I think people liked the Hopman Cup when it existed, because it was a nice, gentle opener, to the season. So I think it was inevitable, but I don't necessarily think it's maybe what Saudi Arabia maybe envisaged, because there's going to be a lot of kind of chat here. The fact that it's also not a mandatory event, it might not even be getting the kind of the best players on the show. We don't know that. It's not getting the kind of the 2-week format that we're seeing to the absolute premier Masters events either. So it feels to me like maybe, yes, this was inevitable. Perhaps it's a watered down vision of maybe what Saudi Arabia had in mind, certainly when they came into tennis, a few years ago.
It feels like it's a very gradual um, process, and I thought they would just be buying tennis essentially. I know there was like a not a huge leeway or like lead time between when the public investment fund sponsored the rankings to then WTA finals in Riyadh. You know, some of these announcements as they come, it wasn't necessarily as quick as I thought this one would be announced. There would be inevitably a tournament in Saudi Arabia. As you say, I'm surprised it's 1 week. I did think they'd want more. I do think they want more. I think the fact that they
Do you think we're just prolonging an inevitable of they want a Grand Slam?
Will open.
They want a Grand Slam, don't they?
I think they really do. And I think that it's going to be hard to say no. I think where the interesting thing will be, we'll see just how powerful the four slams are in terms of the tournament calendar, and in terms of when public will be mobilized in a way that will actually kind of try and put a stop to the fifth slam happening, for example. I don't think more is more in tennis. I think there's things that you can't just buy. And I think things like the Golden Swing or some of the heritage tournaments that could suffer because of this, I think we're losing something with that. It would be a really big shame to lose some of the tournaments that matter most on the tour to people who don't necessarily get to watch that much tennis, but are so passionate about it. I know Elena went to the Golden Swing and she said it was like nothing else that she experienced. So that's something I'd love to experience. And I'm not sure I'm going to be wanting to or will go and experience, you know, an event in Saudi Arabia. I don't know, Kim, from your perspective, do you think that this poses a threat? Do you think that it's a problem? From the fact that we're talking about how jam-packed the schedule is and they've just announced another 1000 tournament, it feels like it's a weird time for it to be announced. And also,
I mean, if it's not mandatory, then I suppose, you know, it doesn't add.
There's 10 tournaments on 4 continents in February at the moment where it's mooted to be positioned. Yeah. What do you think?
It will be a popular one if the amount of prize money is, you know, although it's not mandatory, I'm sure it will prove popular for that. But I hope
appearance fees, Kim.
Yeah, I just hope that this is like, I don't mind them having a tournament because I think that's probably inevitable and maybe need to give them a little bit of what they want, and they obviously investing a lot in tennis sponsorship, etc. But I certainly wouldn't want them to have I don't want there to be a fifth slam anywhere, because I just think that damages the integrity of the 4 that we've currently got and all their history and heritage. And if you start having more than 4 slams, it's like, well, how do you then compare eras? I mean,
we can have mandatory slams versus.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there were players way back who didn't play or go to all the slams, and it's already hard to judge, you know, the likes of like the big 3 to players of yesteryear. But you know, where do you know, Alcaraz could get to say 40 odd slams just because there's an extra one on the calendar, for example. And I just don't think we need more to make it. Yeah, it's not all about money, mate. I just think you've got this core.
It is, unfortunately. Don't you think it is about money though? This is all about money, and I think it's money that the ATP can't refuse and the WTA certainly can't refuse, and they can be bought. And I think that's the thing. This isn't tennis first. I don't think that
but you can't buy sort of, I don't know, the integrity or like traditional fans. You can't just buy.
No, you can't. I mean, they're buying the events rather than having smaller events that build up to getting a bigger event like every other sort of nation has to do. You know, you have to go through the challenges. There's no Saudi challenger that they've had to get to a 1000. So it feels like money talks. I think money increasingly talks in tennis. I think players are more money motivated than ever based on, you know, the 6.
Tennis is expensive.
Yeah, I mean, they got weddings to pay for, like Alex de Minaur.
Let's all go to Saudi Arabia.
I do think there is maybe potentially, you know, some, just talking about the you know, the prize money and, you know, how much they are bringing to the table. Could there be a situation though where something like this comes in and just the sheer amount of money on the table means that maybe they can, I say, buy out other tournaments that do exist that maybe are a little bit lower down and make the schedule less jam-packed for players? I think maybe players would be more appreciative maybe of these sorts of events if it helps reduce a very kind of cluttered schedule. And I do like this idea, and I don't necessarily think they're marketed as well as they could be, like these different swings. I think you need to maybe kind of drill down into around the slams and kind of market maybe these different swings. And yeah, Golden Swing, I think, has been a, you know, very positive and very refreshing, you know, way of looking at it. It feels like a mini tour, and the Middle Eastern swing. Maybe this is the, part of that. But yeah, I do wonder if bringing these sorts of events in could maybe help, relieve the pressure on the tour by maybe buying out some of the early tournaments. I know that's not going to be to everyone's liking. There's a lot of prestige and a lot of heritage with some of these smaller tournaments, but that's sadly, I think, one of the only ways you're going to be able to.
That's the plan. They are going to buy out the licenses of probably 4 or 5 tournaments, I think. So, I mean, we will move on from this, but I will ask you: are there any points in the calendar year where you think, not necessarily just from February, where a reshuffle might happen? I think you might potentially lose one of the, not Buenos Aires, but you might lose, Chile might be at risk. I think probably, Bostar, one of my favorites. It's a weird one. Now it's a 1 week switch back to clay. That could also be at risk after Wimbledon, and then things might shift slightly. But I'm not sure the Grand Slams will want to shift is the question. So is there any room that you think naturally could open up, or do you think it's going to be a case of there's going to be some savage sort of decision making that will have to happen, and some licenses are going to go?
I mean, I personally think February does make sense if some players are already in the Middle East anyway. So if it's going to be, then whatever makes the most sense.
Go for the tournaments there.
More eco and environmentally friendly about this as well, and think of emissions. But I'm sure they aren't so bothered about that.
Yeah. Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, I know.
I think this does put it does put those 250s on notice a little bit. And yeah, whether they go or whether they get relegated maybe to the Challenger Tour. I mean, I'm going to Metz next week, and
yes, Joel, you're going to Metz qualifying.
Metz qualifying,
wow.
and Metz round 1, which is on
We're in
Sunday.
The trenches. We really are, aren't we? And
but again,
we're not all about glamour. We're not jetting off to Saudi.
I do think that these tournaments, again, at the very end of the season, but I guess they're there for people chasing the points if they need to, to get to the Tour finals. Yeah. It's not an easy decision, but the fact that this has been announced so early, and we've still got a few years to net this out. It's like at least we have a vision of what this sort of looks like. Because I think one of the criticisms of the WTA Tour, for example, has been it's been a little bit too making up as we go along. We haven't had like a full schedule until like the very last minute. So
we haven't even had a schedule during the year that it's happening.
Yeah, exactly. It shows, I think, that there's organisation there, and I think that will help kind of bed in this, but it's not going to be a smooth road, certainly.
Yes. Well, speaking of Saudi Arabia, we've got the WTA Finals.
We're still there, aren't we?
Taking place. We're still stuck in Saudi, but we do have the final 8 confirmed now. Sabalenka, Swiatek, Gauff, Anisimova, Keys, Gula, Paulini, and Rybakina will be competing. This starts on the 1st of November, Saturday. Coco Gauff is the defending champion. And yeah, it's all happening. Mirra Andreeva and Alexandrova are the alternates. Andreeva just missing out with Rybakina getting that final spot. It was really quite close, wasn't it? I think there were 6 points in it. It's just very
6
very
points between Paulini and Andreeva, even though Paulini qualified before. And the points that Rybakina's got have now moved her from 9 to 6. So there's only 31 points between 6 and 9, which I think is probably a record, because it just makes you think if you'd won one more match, any of these players, they would have made it.
Yeah.
And I think
all to play for.
Someone's going to lose, but Andreeva's still going to be there for the doubles. But it is a bit strange when obviously Rybakina hasn't won a 1,000 tournament and Andreeva's won 2.
Yeah.
Joel, I know that you're not a big fan of this necessarily.
It's crazy because, I mean, it just shows, I think, the level of competition there has been across the tour this season at the Slams and the Masters events. The fact that Andreeva's missing out, having won 2 1,000 titles, it just shows, I think, how deep it is, because you look at that lineup and I think it's one of the strongest we've had in quite a while. I'm really interested to see how Amanda Anisimova gets on, because this is her debut at the Tour Finals and has been, she's had such a stellar season. But when you get to kind of this moment of the season after a very, very long season and you've got just the top 8 left, it is it might come down to kind of, maybe experience and
survival of the fittest.
Survival of the fittest. Yeah.
Is that your prediction? I know Kim's going to ask us, but you are talking about Amanda.
Just getting onto that. Winners, runners up, and dark horses. I would like both of you to tell us and our listeners.
Well, Joel's going to go for the number one seed.
Oh, no, I'm going. I sort of want to put Anisimova as my winner and dark horse.
Yeah, you can have one and the same.
I'm gonna say Anisimova is my winner and dark horse, and of course we don't know what the groups are just yet, but we can sort of make a calculated guess. I'm gonna go. Let's go Rybakina. Rybakina runner up. I mean, she's on a six match win streak at the moment. Yeah, that's what I'm going for.
I like it. I think my dark horse might be Paolini. I think she beat Swiatek pretty handily the last time they played 2-1. I think that was in Wuhan. I think it was a very impressive result from her there. I reckon she could potentially do something here. Also playing the doubles. I think my final is, I can see a Gauff Anisimova final. I think we might get that. I'm not sure 1 and 2 are going to come through at this stage. I think Coco playing great tennis now, full of confidence, back at a place where she's won. I think she might be the winner once again, potentially. But I think I'd love to see Gauff and Anisimova play a 3-set match, and a really good one, irrespective of what round that's in. I think we're due a good epic between those, with the classic style of big hitting from Anisimova and defensive Gauff. I mean, I'd love to see them on top form.
I'm going to go completely rogue, and I think...
Don't say Jessica Pegula.
She's going to say
it's not going to be JK.
Tell.
Well, could you tell that I was about to say her name?
Of course she
I was
was.
actually going to say her name.
See her looking down the list. She's not going to go for Keys, is she?
I just have a feeling about JPEG. But I think she's going to beat Anisimova in the final. And so JPEG is my dark horse and winner.
So we've all put Anisimova in the final. Yeah. And none of us have gone for Sabalenka or Swiatek. So
no.
I'm sorry, listeners. You're really going to be switching off to us here because...
So Kim, you don't think Alexandrova is going to come in as an alternate and get to the final?
Oh, I hadn't thought about that. Dark horse, Mirra Andreeva. Yeah.
Wow. Let's see what happens. Looking forward to it. And we'll be obviously rounding it up on the other side. But yeah, finale to the WTA Tour this week getting underway on Saturday. And we've also got the Paris Masters, which is in a new home. It's not in Bercy anymore. It's moved to La Défense. There's a arena there. So rumour has it the courts are playing slower than back in
According
Bercy.
According
to Alcaraz. Do you think this is part of the whole tournament organisers making the court slower, or
that's why they moved it across Paris, Kim? It wasn't because of the lack of room. They want Sinner Alcaraz in the final.
Yeah, I mean Alcaraz and Sinner, neither of them have actually done great at this event. Sinner's never gone past the third round. I think Alcaraz has only made one quarterfinal here. So I don't know. What are you feeling when you're looking at the draw? Do you think either of them are going to go deep? Or...
It's always a rogue one, isn't it, Joel? We remember the years when Jack Sock won it. You know, we've had some strange
Jerzy Janowicz, I think, he did a really good run here, didn't he?
Honestly,
some rogue.
This is the one that's up for grabs, it tends to be. Obviously, Zverev is the defending champion. I'm looking at the list here and I'm thinking, I don't think it's going to be Sinner. I don't think it's going to be Alcaraz. But I do actually think, based on what Joel said, based on what we've seen from Zverev, it's actually a pretty good chance for him to build on his week in Vienna, based on what we've seen. I also think a dark horse could be, Bublik, I'm going to say. But, I mean, beyond that, I mean, it's always hard to guess.
Yeah, I think, I'm looking elsewhere, to be fair. I'm not sure about Sinner and Alcaraz. I think, perhaps...
we've got something against the top seeds, don't we, today?
Maybe Medvedev, but then he's already won in Paris. So
he's got Munar first round, Kim.
The city.
Wait, you can't say that, Kim. Do you hear, Joel? Munar first round. You can't predict that.
Well, I'm going to say, how about I predict Jaume Munar is going to go deep at a Masters. We also have some WTA events in Chennai, Hong Kong, and Zhejiang.
Absolutely stacked. Some of these.
250, yeah.
Just sack these events and just give China the elite trophy.
Honestly.
In Zhuhai.
Bencic in Hong Kong. She could get second title on the trot.
I mean, in fairness, Hong Kong is a great tournament. It's one I've always thought looked fantastic with great support, and it's got a really good lineup, I think, for a 250 at this stage. But I think, I mean, Chennai, it's back. It's a 250 in India. I'm very supportive of the fact that there is a 250 in India again after there hasn't been one for so long. And the ATP 250 got taken away. But I definitely don't necessarily expect to see
Fran Jones
as
the
the number
second
two seed. Yeah, I think
crazy.
we are missing a few of the top players in action. But I think Donna Vekic is going to make mincemeat of this draw.
That's the third seed. Yeah. Well,
Below Fran Jones, that feels surprising, but she's not had a great season in fairness.
Yeah.
no. And Anne Lee also could get a second title. Maybe
Wait, there's
it'd be
three
like
250s.
a London bus. Yeah, Anne Lee's out in Zhejiang, a Chinese event. So
Goodness gracious me.
all happening. If you would like to follow WTA 250s, you've got three to choose from.
You really do, of mixed quality.
Yes, there is no let up. Even when the WTA end of season finals on, there's
Of course,
still
they're on as well.
there's
I'm going to be
still
watching these,
250s
Joel.
on.
You know
Yes,
I will be.
I know you will. I know
Live
you will.
streaming from
Yeah.
Zhejiang.
Tonight, watch out.
That wraps it up for our latest tour catch up here at Tennis Weekly HQ. We hope you've enjoyed the ride with us. Remember to subscribe so you don't miss a moment of the ATP and WTA action as we head into the business end of the season. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and all your favorite podcasting platforms out there.
And if you love what you're hearing, then be sure to leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify and hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube.
And you can stay connected with us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, Threads, and all of those. The handle is Tennis Weekly Pod. We'll be surprised by what Joel is sharing with us from Mets round one and qualifying.
Yes.
And if you
I'm
really
waiting for that qualifying draw to come out.
Oh, I mean, the analysis will be impeccable. And
Big time.
if you also want to find out where Kim went on holiday 3 years ago, I'm sure you can follow her somewhere. But please do get in touch with us, your mailbag questions. We do love to answer them. And the best way to get in touch with us is through social media, or you can email us, tennisweeklypod@gmail.com, or visit our website, tennisweekly.co.uk.
And we'll be back next week for another tour catch up. But until then, it's goodbye from Kim.
Goodbye.
It's goodbye from Chris.
Goodbye.
And it's goodbye from me. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time on Tennis Weekly.